Sawyer Scott is an ambitious college senior keen on getting her life together. On a morning run, she gets a phone call informing her that she has been shortlisted for a job interview. The news excites Sawyer immensely, but she realizes that the interview is in Washington. She fears the embarrassment that would result if she does not get the job, so she secretly attends the interview. Sawyer quickly gathers what she will need for the trip and cancels plans to celebrate Thanksgiving with her family. On I-64, Sawyer encounters holiday traffic, so she decides to use an alternative route. The road is partially closed off after a few miles for safety reasons. Desperate, Sawyer pulls out a paper map intending to carve out another way to Washington. She stops by the roadside and exits the car to start scoping the map. Suddenly, a truck pulls up next to her. Two brothers, Hollister and Buck, emerge from the car and approach Sawyer. The brothers want to help Sawyer, but they get aggressive when Sawyer refuses their invitation for dinner. The brothers start attacking Sawyer, but she quickly defends herself by injuring the guys with a pocket knife. Sawyer runs into the woods, desperate to escape the brothers. Unfortunately, she falls and injures her leg, but successfully hides from the brothers. When it starts getting dark, the brothers cease their search and exit the woods. The brothers had been burying a body when Sawyer drove past them. The paranoid brothers assumed that Sawyer had seen them, so they followed her. Sawyer finds a stream and quenches her thirst before spending a night in the ravine. Later that evening, the sheriff's department received a complaint about an abandoned car. County Sheriff O'Doyle goes out to investigate. He asks a few neighbors about the vehicle, but no one knows anything. Finally, he comes across the brothers. He is suspicious when he sees their beaten-up faces, but the brothers deny knowing anything about the abandoned car. The sheriff leaves as he does not find evidence in support to the contrary. Sawyer continues her hike in the woods despite feeling weak and hungry. She also deals with a soaring pain in her leg, making it difficult to make much progress. She is by a cliff when she hears some people conversing in hushed voices. Suddenly, a car tumbles down the embankment. Sawyer realizes the car belongs to her. The brothers have decided to toss it as it might bring unwanted attention to their business. After they leave, Sawyer walks towards the wrecked car. She manages to find her phone. However, she is out of cell phone coverage and her battery is draining fast, so it is useless to her. Sawyer walks around for a while and then she passes out. She's in a house when she comes to, and her wounded leg has been bandaged. Before her stands a man named Lowell. Lowell tries to calm Sawyer down, but she gets up adamant to leave. She throws lye in his face but passes out from the exhaustion before much harm can be done. She finds that Lowell had bound her feet and hands when she wakes up. Lowell offers her some bread and insists that he wants to help. Meanwhile, the brothers keep on tracking Sawyer, and their efforts lead them to Lowell. Lowell is conversing with Sawyer when a car pulls up outside. Sawyer starts screaming for help, but Lowell cautions her against it as he wants to check the car out. The brothers quickly approach the house, and Lowell walks out. It turns out that the brothers are Lowell's cousins. Lowell is a meth cook who supplies drugs to the brothers. The brothers inquire about Sawyer, but he denies seeing any girl around. The brothers get suspicious when Lowell fails to invite them inside the house. Luckily, Sawyer escapes her bonds and hides outside while the brothers search the house. After they leave, Sawyer wonders why Lowell protected her from the brothers. Lowell reveals that he knows his cousins will harm Sawyer if they find her, so keeping her in the house is the best way to protect her. Back in town, O'Doyle gets pressure from his boss, Kentucky State Police Commander Slattery. The car's owner has been found to be a young girl, and her disappearance is a top priority. Slattery wants O'Doyle to handle the case urgently, and he is displeased with how O'Doyle has dealt with the issue so far. O'Doyle is angered by the berating he takes before his deputy Katz. In the next scene, O'Doyle visits the brothers. It turns out he is a corrupt cop involved in the shady meth dealings. He is angry at the brothers for letting Sawyer escape alive, as this could immensely affect their operations. He wants the brothers to find Sawyer as soon as possible. After ascertaining that Lowell is a good guy, Sawyer reveals that she has an interview in Washington. She asks Lowell to let her go, but Lowell does not have a car. However, his cousins will be out of town for the weekend, so Lowell will have their truck and can easily take Sawyer to Washington. The two bond and become friends over their shared agony. Lowell shows Sawyer some chemical tricks while preparing the next batch of meth. The brothers bring some boxes to Lowell's house, so Lowell mixes some chemicals to fill the house with white smoke. This way, Sawyer sneaks out to hide, and the brothers cannot see anything to indicate her presence due to the smoke. Back in town, Deputy Katz overhears a conversation between O'Doyle and the brothers. He is deeply disturbed to learn that the sheriff is behind some of the worst crimes done in the town. He goes to the sheriff and holds him at gunpoint. The sheriff tries to calm the deputy down, and when Katz lets his guard down, the sheriff kills him. O'Doyle gets the brothers to bury Katz's body in the woods. When Commander Slattery inquires about the case, O'Doyle discovers some planted evidence showing that Katz had something to do with the missing girl. He says that he fired Katz, and he must have disappeared with Sawyer. Slattery feels that the case is taking too long to handle. He hands the case over to the state police. Later, O'Doyle meets with the brothers and updates them on the situation. He is afraid that the state police will discover the drug business and arrest them. O'Doyle wants the brothers to handle the next meth delivery as soon as possible, before the case is handed over. He also decides to help them with the task, hoping the money earned from the dealings will help him with his retirement. Sawyer and Lowell are hanging outside when O'Doyle's car pulls over. Sawyer quickly runs and hides before the sheriff reaches the house. The sheriff also suspects that Lowell's hiding Sawyer, and he asks to search the house. Lowell holds out his rifle and refuses to let the sheriff inside his house, saying he needs a warrant. O'Doyle tells the brothers that Lowell might be a problem if he harbors Sawyer. The brothers go to Lowell's house and see Sawyer's footprint, confirming that she is staying there with Lowell. They let themselves in and held the two hostages at gunpoint. Lowell claims he hid Sawyer from the brothers because he found a better use for her. Since the brothers want to expand their drug business and upstage the drug cartel moving into the region, they will need larger production. For this, he has been training Sawyer to help and has kept her prisoner in the house. After saying this, Lowell instructs Sawyer to make him some coffee. This will prove that Sawyer has become an obedient servant. Sawyer walks to the kitchen and prepares the coffee. She then places the coffee mug in the microwave and walks towards Lowell, sitting on his lap. A few minutes later, the microwave alarm goes off, indicating that the coffee is ready. Buck walks towards the microwave, but a few seconds later, the microwave explodes with a loud bang. It turns out that Lowell had placed a mixture of anhydrous ammonia, which explodes when heated. The impact kills Buck instantly and injures everyone else except Sawyer, who Lowell shields. The two crawl outside, but Lowell is badly injured and cannot escape with Sawyer. Lowell urges Sawyer to run just as Hollister walks out with the rifle. He goes to shoot Lowell, but Sawyer intervenes by grabbing him from the back. Buck's body is half burnt, but he's still stronger than Sawyer. Lowell urges Sawyer to run, as she cannot overpower Buck. O'Doyle arrives on the scene and shoots Lowell and Buck. Sawyer has escaped while the trailer was burning, and she sighs in relief when a police car stops before her. She gets in the car but quickly realizes that O'Doyle had lewd intentions after he uses an idiom she had heard the brothers used. He had murdered the cousins to ensure that their drug business would not be linked to him, and now he has one loose end to tie up, which is Sawyer. O'Doyle soon realizes that Sawyer suspects him, and he threatens her. He takes Sawyer to the titular Rust Creek and starts assaulting her while trying to drown her. Fortunately, Sawyer defends herself using a weeding fork that she had grabbed from Lowell's house earlier. The two struggle, and the fork falls into the stream. Sawyer struggles with the bulkier man until she finds the fork. She stabs O'Doyle repeatedly on his feet, face, and torso. This does not fatally injure him, but the stabs are powerful enough to distract him, and he lets her go. Sawyer keeps on attacking O'Doyle. When she is convinced that O'Doyle won't follow her, Sawyer limps away with determination, and she approaches the road. Behind her, several police cars pull up, and now Sawyer can breathe easy knowing that her painful ordeal is done. Click on one of the two videos on screen right now.